Where are you within your true Earth journey?
I'm not telling you. Well, absolutely nobody can deny that Dave Weiss is intellectually fearless. Dave Weiss, or Flat Earth Dave, as he's also known, is a global expert on all things related to the Flat Earth movement. Dave believes that the world's elites, or as he calls them, the controllers, use TV programming to hide the truth nature of reality from all of us. Well, I would tend to agree with all of that. They make us believe the world is completely physical, hiding the spiritual and metaphysical nature of reality. And yes, he thinks the world is actually flat, and that NASA is just a propaganda apparatus just as much as big tech or social media or public schools. Well, Dave wanted to come on this show and says that he's happy to answer literally any question that we have about the Earth and its shape. And to that end, he joins us now. Dave, thank you so much for coming. We appreciate it.
Stu, thanks for having me on. And in this crazy time we live in, many listeners are saying right now, why the heck is he talking about the shape of the Earth? What does it matter with all the other nonsense going on in the world? And the long story short is it is the reason they're getting away with all this nonsense. People are lost in space, spinning out of control, don't know where they are in a godless or distant God universe, and they don't realize that we're at the center of creation. So when you say flat Earth, I say a topographical level plane. Yes, there's hills, there's valleys, there's all sorts of stuff. And when you first hear about flat Earth, you're like, no way, it's so stupid. It's because everybody has this idea. This is what we've been brainwashed into thinking flat Earth is. No flat earther thinks this. So once you understand what the flat Earth is and what it's not, then you start to see, and then the why it matters really comes into play.
Yeah, why is it that flat Earth is the single thing that triggers people the most? I mean, I say things. I was in an airplane recently traveling, took a picture out the window, said, don't see the curve, looks pretty flat. I was at the beach, took a picture of the ocean, said, I'm not seeing a curve, looks pretty flat. People go absolutely nuts. Why is that?
It's because we've been indoctrinated into flat Earth before we could even talk. We were in our cribs. Our parents put mobiles above our heads of the solar system. We watch Sesame Street. There's astronauts on there. The first worksheet we take home from school is the movement of the sun, the moon, and the Earth. Right? It's programming, and then all of our toys and all of our movies and all of it is about space, and that was the biggest thing, to give up space. But you're not just giving up space, you're taking in a new reality that outer space is right here on a scientifically possible flat Earth, right? This is what people believe. They don't even understand what they believe. In the helio-nonsensical system, we're on a ball spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. That means when you're watching the sunset, you believe you're falling over backwards faster than the speed of sound.
I just have to say, I don't believe that. I look, I'm not going to tell everybody exactly where I am with this whole flat Earth thing because I really don't know. But I do have a question about this. You mentioned the 1080 miles per hour. I asked a pilot to explain this because I asked a pilot, is it flat? And he looked at me like I was crazy. And he goes, no, Mr. Peters, it's not flat. This was getting off. We were deplaning. And I said, well, let me just riddle me this then. Answer this question for me. So we're on this aircraft and we just went from Minneapolis to Orlando. We were traveling at approximately 500 miles per hour, give or take 50, 75 miles per hour. The Earth is spinning at 1,080 miles per hour, or so I've been told for my entire life. So how did we ever catch up to Orlando? Or did we just wait for it to catch back up to us? He couldn't really explain that.
Yeah, well, they say in the Earth is spinning and it's holding on to all of the air, and all of the air is spinning with the Earth, right? Which makes absolutely no sense when you think about it. A summer breeze can blow the air left and right and up and down, and I could drink with a straw, pulling air up and away from gravity with the weak vacuum or low pressure of my mouth and lungs. None of it makes any sense when you look into it. And here's the thing. No matter what I say today, don't believe me. I'm pointing to some doors that you never thought of. And then once you look at them, make up your own mind. And this is things that we can test. Stu, you do such an amazing job, exposing all of the stuff going on with the injection, the lethal injection. And it's hard for a normal person to verify that. I don't have an electron microscope. I don't understand what I'm looking at. I have to believe. I have to understand. I have to trust. But the true nature of our world is testable by every single person. So it's something that's very, very, very simple to do.
Yeah, I agree. So, all right, I want you to go through your kind of a presentation that you have here.
Real quick, I won't be too long. So we're spinning at 66,600 miles an hour, funny number, and we're chasing at a 500,000 miles per hour. And these are curved trajectories, right? And people go, "Oh, I'm on an airplane. I could drink water." Well, to equate that airplane over the earth plane to the spin of the earth, you'd have to double the speed of the airplane. You'd have to remove the outer shell of the airplane, and you'd have to nosedive a mile per minute just to follow the curve of the earth. And then I want to know how your water's doing, right? So all of that's going on, and we're traveling all of these distances. So this is the hypersonic sled track. Anyone that's listening, just Google that on YouTube. This thing goes by at Mach 8.6, right? You have to believe that you can't even see it. You have to believe that we are traveling 10 times faster than that around the sun in an elliptical orbit, and we're chasing the sun at 100 times faster than that. But when we go out into nature, we see stuff like this: a perfectly calm, mirror reflected flat lake. Okay, absolutely impossible on a spinning ball. None of it makes any sense.
Is it possible for you to go back to that other one that you were just showing, the all the chaos there?
The sled?
Yeah, show the sled. Let's see that again here real quick, because I didn't get that. That was covered by something. Okay, so here's the sonic sled track test. Explain this again real quick.
So this is the fastest rocket sled that they can do on a railroad track. It's called the hypersonic sled track test, and it's going by at Mach 8.6. You can barely fathom that speed, but you have to believe that this rock, surrounded by water, surrounded by curved air adjacent to a void, which is just scientifically impossible, is whizzing through space 10 times faster than this, curving around the sun, right? And then also chasing the sun 100 times faster than that. These are numbers and speeds that the human mind can't even perceive, but we have to believe them because the guy in a bow tie who lies told us that. And we were just like, okay, they know he has a bow tie, he has a white lab coat. Yeah. And people don't, people say there's no proof of globe earth, of the flat earth, and there's thousands of proofs of the globe. I have a reward out there. I offer 3 Bitcoins for one proof of the globe. It's been 3 years. No one's been able to come up with a single one. And we all have the same story, is we all thought it was stupid. We all refused to look. And then when we looked, we're like, oh my God, and there's people like Peggy Hall. She just did a presentation at our True Earth Mount Meru Summit that was phenomenal. She comes from a biblical point of view, but you don't need it. If you're not a biblical person, you don't need that.
Yes, you do need it. And you better get to be, and you better get to know Jesus, because the Bible actually says, God actually says there's a firmament, water above, water below. He references that the earth is flat in his own word.
Dude, I didn't mean it that way. I'm saying flat earth brings people to the creator, right? Before I learned about flat earth, I was out there. I didn't believe in any of that. But once I understood the makeup of this earth, that we didn't come from a Jesuit priest made up Big Bang, I saw that this place was intelligently designed. I've now found the creator, and it's an amazing journey. It's like I look back on my life before I found this, and it's amazing. Flat earth lifts people up out of depression, gets them away from drug addictions, because you find out you're at the center of creation, right? They're hiding God. That's the number one reason that they do
We're doing that in every aspect of our life. So this just kind of occurred to me. So I have a question. Yeah. How often is it, or what is the distance with which they tell us that the earth curves? Is it every so many meters?
It's 8 inches per mile squared. You just use the Pythagorean theorem, and oh my God, the Pythagorean theorem, I don't remember that. It's so simple. It's 8 inches in the first mile. Second mile is 2 times 2 times 8 is 32 inches. And then the third mile is 6 feet of curvature. This is their numbers. So when I'm standing at the edge of calm water, the horizon, I shouldn't be able to see the surface of the water beyond 3 miles. It should be behind the curve, right? But I can see much, much farther than that. And this is what happens, Stu. When I found out about this, I was like, this can't be true. This can't be true. And I went out and I saw all of these videos of people zooming in on boats and bringing them back into view. And so I went out and I got a camera and I did it myself. So you look out on this horizon and there's nothing out here. But as we zoom in, it gets bigger. I'm increasing the angular size. And all of a sudden you look, oh, there's a boat, right? And a glober would say, oh, you can't see the boat because it's over the curve, but it's just out of your eye's ability to see. And we have these little waves in the foreground are bigger, and they'll block the whole boat. Just a little tiny wave, a millimeter above your eye level. your apparent eye level.
So speaking of water and a sailboat there, which is what that appeared to be, what do you say to these people who say they've sailed around the? I can't even say it with a straight face. What do you say to the people who have sailed around the world?
Yeah, so there's billions of people have gone east and west. So if we have the flat earth pond, at the center of our pond is the magnetic north, and all magnets point to the north. So if this is a boat or an airplane or whatever, the needle's pointing north. I'm trying to push it west. West is a circle. Now, this does not prove the earth is flat because it's the same on a globe. If I try to push it east, I have to keep turning to the left to maintain a heading of 90 degrees. So a giant circle, like if you were making a circle just 500 miles around, you'd think you'd be going, you'd feel like you're going in a straight line, right? But it's only when you try to dead reckon west or east without correcting, immediately, as soon as you stop moving, you're moving south. South is every direction away from the center. So billions and billions of people have circumnavigated east and west. Nobody's done it south. Amelia Earhart, these are all the stops she made. She's going east, 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 all the way around, or she could have gone west all the way around. But if she went south, she'd be gone. No one's ever done it. Kind of strange, right?
What's at the edge?
So what's at the edge? So that's a great question, because the earth is like a pond. This is how I look at it. So a pond is a lake, is a body of water surrounded by land that's consistently higher than the pond. Well, they tell us some things that are true. Antarctica is the highest land on earth. They tell us it's a continent at the bottom of the ball, but it's really the shoreline around our world pond. Okay. So 60 degrees south, which is still like 1,000 miles or more from Antarctica, it's off limits. No one's allowed to go there unsupervised. And if you do, you'll be intercepted by a warship or a drone or a jet fighter. All right. And no one is allowed to independently explore out there. You can go to Antarctica right to this little tip, this little piece of land off of Santiago, and it's way off. But that's all they let you see. I mean, this little piece of land is bigger than many countries, right?
So thinking about this curve thing again. Yeah. I'm sorry, but I'm on this journey mentally here, as I'm sure everybody watching is. Okay, so the curve thing. Yeah, because if you're in an airplane and say the autopilot is set at 36,000 feet, if you go up or down in an aircraft, I'm sure you've flown before, right, Dave?
Yeah, of course.
If you go up or down in an aircraft, you can feel that in your stomach, and you can feel even 100-foot descent or an altitude increase, you can feel it physically.
Dude, when you're on an airplane and taking a nap, as soon as the pilot just slowly starts to head to the airport, you like wake up. Oh my God, we're moving. We changed our direction.
So if the Earth was really curving like that, wouldn't the pilot have to be constantly adjusting to stay 36,000 feet above the surface of this round ball?
So they claim now that there's these electronics that adjust the gyro. A gyro is how an airplane stays level. They spin it up. It holds rigidity in space. So they spin it up level to where they took off from. And as they go around the ball, it should make their horizon dip backwards because it holds rigidity. But they're saying that it adjusts for this curve. That's absolute and total nonsense, because pilots were flying with mechanical gyros for decades and decades and decades before this alleged electronic gyro thing is up. So we've tested, airplanes fly straight and level over the earth plane. There's so many proofs of this, including emergency landings. But, we're told that we're crazy because we think down is down. Right? We think down is down for everybody. And, on the globe, down is antipodal to people on the other side of the spinning earth, right? Once you think about this model that we've been sold, you really wonder how the heck you ever believed it.
Yeah. I know. It's very strange. So this is what are we looking at here?
So this is a map that was found in Hawaii in a Buddhist temple. As they said, it's supposedly 10,000 years old, and it's showing other continents outside of our pond area. What's really interesting is there's a website that has tracking of ships. You can track cargo ships all over the world. Yep. And we recently found a row of ships going through Antarctica that's supposed to be frozen or land. Right. And they're showing them going right through Antarctica. So maybe they're going out here. Right. They wrapped it all around and made us think that we're on a ball. But in reality, it's an extended plane. Here's the thing. I'm not claiming that any of this is true. We want the right as free human beings to go explore these outer lands, but they don't want us to explore the north or the south, because if we did, in my opinion, we'd find out we're not on a spinning ball. And once you wake up to this flat earth deception, Stu, I woke people up for years, all the other deceptions that are going on, and people just go right back to sleep. But when you wake up to the globe lie, then you all of a sudden everything changes.
Yeah, I mean, you can't believe anything that these people are telling us. Right. I asked this Space Force guy who was just telling me constantly, repeatedly, over and over, gaslighting me for 30 minutes about how space was real and that NASA was credible and that, you know, the globe is round, it's a ball spinning. And I asked him, well, have you ever, certainly Space Force, you've obviously, then you've been to space, you've seen this. And he goes, no. And I said, oh, well, then I mean, I guess the conversation is over. Why is it that every image that we see of Earth from space happens to be a computer generated image, a CGI? And why is constantly every landmass a different size and a different ratio compared to the water?
Yeah, because they are CGI, they're paintings, they're, you know, the blue marble, which is this one right here that's on everyone's iPhone when the iPhone
very pretty. Yeah, it's very, I mean, it's a very pretty thing.
Right. But when you look at them and you do actual measurements, like, you know, there's two famous photos, 2012 and 2017, I think, of the Earth showing the United States. Well, we can measure across Baja and Mexico, so we know how long that is. And to fit that inside the radius of the Earth, it's like you need the Earth would have to be 10 times bigger, right? It's unbelievable. So getting back to the curvature real quick.
Yeah.
We're zooming in on a ship. We see a ship. We know it's 16 miles away. Well, we shouldn't be able to see it because the camera's a foot off the ground, right? We shouldn't be able to see that whole ship because it should be behind a serious amount of curvature. Then we can see water beyond that ship, which means, well, there's no curvature. We see the water. And then we saw another ship miles and miles beyond that, right? So let's just pretend that one that's miles and miles behind it is just a mile behind it, 17 miles. If we use the curvature formula backwards, the Earth would need a radius of, I think it's like over 100,000 miles when they say our radius is just under 4,000. Okay. For us to be able to see that second ship, the radius of the Earth, let that soak in, would be over 100,000 miles. Okay. None of this makes any sense. The ball is scientifically impossible. The flat level plane, which we're figuring out what this place is scientifically possible.
Yeah, I'm not, look, I don't have any arguments for the stuff that you're saying. I just want to say that I got all kinds of arguments to these people who incessantly just try to why is it so important for them? Why is it so important for them that I believe that this thing is a rapidly spinning ball?
Dude, it's about total control. You know that they're going for control, and I tell you, there's millions.
But why that? But why that? Why not just all the other stuff? Why is it so important? The first thing we learn in school is this. Is it because it's just so impossible for anybody to believe? It is so far out there. It is so physically, scientifically impossible that if we can get you to believe this one thing, the rest of your life is just really easy.
That's part of it. Think about the damage it does to a child. The child has his senses, is taking in the world. And then they say, oh, no, that horizon that's perfectly still in that lake that's not moving at all. We're spinning at ridiculous speeds. And those stars that you can see right there, you know, that are brighter than they're like a piece of the sun. Oh, those are trillions and trillions of miles away, which you can't even comprehend. So it's breaking a child's, ability to think and create. And the other thing is, I think I don't know the verse, but in the Bible, basically there's a passage that says, once you see my creation, you can no longer deny my existence. Okay. And that's the absolute truth. And they don't want us in a situation where we can't deny God. Okay. And that has brought so many people over. It's amazing. So, you're right saying, yeah, you need to know God and everything. But Stu, I was on the other side of that fence. I was the guy that didn't believe in God. And if I was listening to you and you started preaching the Bible, I'd probably just turn you off. But now I'm fascinated. Now I can't get out. It's amazing. So that's why I always lead with the science and say, oh, and the Bible backs it up too. Real quick, these are plane routes. Now, plane routes from the in the southern hemisphere do crazy things. They go all the way up into the north and then all the way back down. And the argument is, well, they have hubs there and they're pickups and drop off people and they're trying to make money. But there's a thing that happens. Sometimes people have emergencies on airplanes, probably more now than ever before.
Yeah, I wonder why that might be.
Yeah. Well, but over the years, there's been a bunch of them, and they have to do an emergency landing. So this is one from New York to, let's say, Hawaii, New York
Hawaii,
to Hawaii.
Yeah.
And they had an emergency, and they went 1,000 miles out of the way to Seattle. They got there impossibly fast, but when you look at it on a flat Earth map, it lines right up. It's the spot is right on the line. Another one from Beijing to Dallas to Beijing, landed in Calgary, was like 1,500 miles out of the way. They got there amazingly fast. Happens to be, if you put it on a flat Earth map, it's right there. And then we had a recent one. This one is going to get you. So this one is, where is it? Sorry.
It's fascinating. I mean, it really is. I'm like a kid, like learning stuff all over again. It's crazy.
So yeah, this is it. And all of my stuff can be found at flatearthdave.com. Just, I'm going to give you guys a challenge, and I guarantee if you take it, you'll end up at least being a globe denier until you realize it's a little deeper than that. So Hong Kong to Europe, and it's a 12-hour flight. And 4 hours into the flight, this family was flying, and the mother died in her chair. Boom, suddenly died. Interesting, right? Yeah. Little plug there.
Died suddenly.
Died suddenly. And they left her in that chair for 8 hours with her kids next to her. They could have stopped here. There's dozens of airports that they could have stopped at. But the problem was, that's not where they were. If you look at it on a flat Earth map, died suddenly, and then they were over Russia, right? So two things. One, they can't land because they'll be like, why are we over Russia? And the other one is, if they landed in Russia, Russia would have said, oh, let us help, please. And they would have been the good guy. Russia, good guy. And what are you doing flying over Russia? I thought we weren't allowed to fly over Russia. This is the route. So 8 hours, and then they stopped in Frankfurt. Why don't they just finish the trip to London? Okay. I mean, it's already 8 hours there, but it's because they were over Russia. This happens all the time, right? Another one from New York to Auckland, New Zealand, right? New York to Auckland, New Zealand. There was an emergency, and they went to Beijing. Oh, I got the wrong one up here. Hold on a second.
Yeah, it looks like Fiji Islands.
Yeah. So going from New York to Auckland, right about here is emergency. They went all the way over to Fiji, which was arguably farther than their final destination. But when we look at it on a flat Earth map, Fiji's right on the flight route. How many times does this have to happen before people say, okay?
So hold on a minute. These are actual documentable flights and emergencies and things that we can actually get flight numbers for and prove that they actually made these diversions?
100%. On my website, flatearthdave.com. Scroll down. There's a book called 16 Emergency Landings Proving Flat Earth. Check it out. It's all documented. Everything is there. All the work has been done for you. It's amazing. It's there, and there's actually 18 emergency landings that we have documented now.
We were told that we only had 20 minutes for this segment, but I have to keep going because I have to ask you something. What are the most passionate arguments? You know what, Dave? No, you're totally wrong. Here's why. If you were to pick like the top 3 or top 5, you think that are the most common, like, nope, you're nuts. It's round and we're spinning super fast. And you're not flying off of it, and neither is the water. Put water on a spinning top. Do it. You guys, all of you, take a spinning top and drop a piece of water on it, a drop of water. It flies off. So how are we retaining these oceans and all this water? I don't get it. But anyways, what are the 3 to 5 that you think?
Well, there's not 3 to 5. The best one that they have is they love looking up at the lights in the sky, at the stars, and saying, because the star rotation in the south is another direction. Here's the problem. You can't look up at the stars and say, well, that can't happen on a flat Earth, because there's 100 ways it could happen, because we don't know what those stars are. Imagine our sun. Our sun is a yoga ball. The Earth is a BB or a marble next to it. That's what they tell us, right? Yeah. Move the sun 93 million miles away where they tell us it. Now it's the size of a coin held at arm's length. So it gets smaller due to distance. Stu, if I doubled that distance, how much smaller would it get? If I made it 8 times as far, how much smaller does it get? Could you see it? And the answer is, scientifically provably, its angular size would be too small to see at 8 times the distance. Well, 8 times the distance is 1 light hour. The distance light allegedly travels in an hour. Okay. So Polaris, our North Star, they tell us is 48 times bigger than our sun. Cool. Now we can make a comparison. If I made Polaris 48 light hours away, we couldn't see it, because scaling, with size 48 times farther, 48 times bigger, it'd be the same unseeable size. Well, that's 2 light days. Let's round up to a light week. You could not see Polaris, period. Okay. And there's many other reasons why you couldn't because of the brightness issue. They tell us Polaris is 433 light years away. Your mind just short circuits right here. Okay.
Yeah. So this is the only one argument that you get is this Polaris and the sun nonsense.
That's it. The rotation of the southern stars. And that's a more complicated thing. I have an app. It's called the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. If you hit the frequently asked questions button and then you hit the southern flight routes or no southern star rotation, it's just loading because I just loaded it for the first time.
Yeah,
which is right over here. And then it'll bring up all of the videos that they're hiding. Here's the thing, Stu. I had to make this app because they're hiding this information. Like if you Googled, hey, are vaccines safe? Okay, what are you going to get?
Of course.
You're going to get nonsense. And you get the same thing. You get nonsense with Flat Earth. They feed you all of their propaganda. Why are they hiding it? So, we're out here. We have all of the questions are answered in here. And
Google Stu Peters. It'll take you to my Wikipedia. Virtually everything on there is false. Why is it so important for them to discredit me?
Right. And, and people say flat Earth is dying, Stu. This is on my app. I have a thing called the Friend Finder so people can find other like-minded people. And by the way, all of these blue dots are people that are awake and aware and 99.99% unvaccinated. These are all of the people that are awake and aware. This is the fastest growing awakening that I've ever seen. And it is truly amazing.
Wow.
Yeah. So, Stu, I'd love to talk to you longer. And there's so much more. And here's the thing. You can believe anything. Like someone tells you something, okay, believe it. You're done, right? But if I told you I lived in Connecticut, you'd believe me. But you don't know it. But then you'd have to take some time and do some research and jump on Facebook or whatever and find my friends, find my high school. Okay, yeah, he lives in Connecticut, right? So it takes time to verify stuff. People don't like taking time and effort. You can lead a person to knowledge, but you can't make them think. Well, we all had the same story. We refused to look at first. And then when we were forced to, then you can see.
Why do you think it's so important for these people who just can't imagine? Like, so here's, I'll just be honest with you where I'm at with this.
Go.
Nobody has proven to me that this thing is round. Nobody has ever proven that. So, I mean, of course, I'm the type of person, whether I was investigating, trying to find fugitives, or I'm investigating, Mark Meadows and his ties to China, or investigating Vernon Jones, how disingenuous or legitimate he might be, or investigating what's in these vials that they're calling a safe and effective vaccine. I'm a guy that just likes to ask questions. I want to know the answers to the questions. Nobody's ever been able to prove it. So where I'm at right now is somebody prove it and I'll be fine with it. But why is it so important for those people? And I'm not even talking about the powers that be, Dave. I'm talking about, Nancy down the street, or, Tim that you go fishing with, or whatever. Why is it so important for them to just believe so badly that this thing is round? Why is it such a trigger point for people, I guess, is what I'm asking.
Dude, it's because that's what our entire world foundation was built upon, right? And if you believe in the heliocentric model, you have no foundation. You're on a speck of dust flying through an infinite universe where an asteroid could take you out at any moment, right? Where we're running out of food, we're running out of water, where, it's just all of this nonsense. And people kind of get addicted to their fear. They live it. And, they built a solid life around themselves. And when you rip the rug out from underneath them, telling them that the earth is flat, it's very shaking, but when you're done, when you come through it, you're like, wow, I am at the center of creation. My thoughts actually create reality. They don't want you to know that. They don't want you to know that nobody has control over you than in your imagination. Imagine if everyone listened to your show, Stu, and everyone said, okay, I'm done. I'm not going to listen to the government anymore. It's over. The government is gone. They're a flea. You don't even notice them anymore. They're finished. And we all are complying because we're afraid.
I would like to encourage that, actually. Could we all just do that? Can we make the commitment that we're just not going to listen to the government anymore? I think that would be freaking fantastic. So I guess, on a pendulum here, I'm a globe skeptic.
That's excellent. That's all I ask people.
Is that fair? I'm a globe skeptic. And thanks to you.
Here's the thing. If people just go to my website, flatearthdave.com, get the app. It's $3. If you don't want to get the app, that's fine. Just scroll down to the crash course. And that's a series of videos. And I guarantee if you watch the first 5 videos, you're finished. You're on our team and you're going to be fighting for the rest of your life to expose this, because this is the key to our freedom, right? If we're trying to do all of this other stuff with our heads up our rear ends and don't know where we are, don't know our true power, then it's going to be a very difficult task.
Well, I was just about to pitch to your website, but you just did such a fantastic job. FlatEarthDave.com. Get to FlatEarthDave.com. Please get the app for $3. I mean, support Flat Earth Dave if you can. He's on our side, clearly.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
One quick thing.
We saw, by the way, that you posted the trailer for the documentary on your page, and we wanted to tell you that we appreciate that as well.
Thank you. Just real quick, we live here. This could be Antarctica, and out here is more land, extra territory. If someone lived out here and came to visit us, we might consider them an extraterrestrial from the outer space. Scientifically possible. There's books about this in the 1800s about lands beyond Antarctica.
Well, if they want to come here, they have to do it legally through the proper channels. No more illegal aliens, as far as we're concerned.
There you go.
Dave Weiss, FlatEarthDave.com. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you being here.
Thanks, Stu. I appreciate you having me.
Awesome. Okay, so here's the deal. Who did you talk to come on? Elizabeth or Lauren or who?
Elizabeth, I believe.
Okay, I'm gonna have you back, and this is gonna go opposite of the way that you think it is.
Okay.
Because we're gonna do an even shorter segment.
Oh boy.
Because we do a premium segment every week, and that's what this was slotted for. But I want you on the big show, on the main show.
Okay.
So we have to do this in 10 minutes.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So figure it out.
Do I have to let you talk?
No, I don't have to talk. I will just sit there and smirk.
All right. I'm ready to go. When is this airing and where is this airing? Where can I see it?
StuPeters.com this Saturday.
Okay. Thanks, Stu.
But I want to get you on the main show, the night show, because that's going to floor people and it's going to super trigger them that I'm entertaining this. So,
well, you know what? You're already out there getting shot at from all different directions. What more could this add?
Yeah. Well, and I will love the Rolling Stone headline, shock jock, right wing conspiracy theorist Stu Peters believes Earth is flat.
Well, you know what, Stu? This is such an important topic, and it's shows like yours, with your platform, people need to come out, and I think they're going to start coming out. There's tons of people, famous people that are on Flat Earth that don't want us telling their names. I'm in this group on Telegram. There's lots of doctors, people that you've had on your show that are flat earthers. I know.
I gave the example of how I asked one pilot that told me I was freaking crazy, but there are plenty of pilots who said, yeah, it's flat.
No one ever brings a globe into the cockpit and going, oh, let me see where we're going. Let me see where we're going.
Yeah.
Right? Can I show you one quick thing? It'll take 2 seconds. That'll be interesting. So there was a flight from Germany to Brazil, and they're flying at night. And so you're on top of a ball. You're going. So the stars that you see at the horizon when you take off should be at your zenith as you dive over the ball. Okay. This is what they saw. The stars were not rising up. This is what they should see. This is animation. These stars here should be over your head when you get to Brazil. But in reality, they saw nothing like that at all. The stars just did their slow movement, and they weren't, as you're diving over the ball. Do you understand? The stars that are at your horizon should be over your head.
Right. Yes.
They're not moving at all. Look, this is the actual footage. These stars should be up here.
Right.
Right.
But maybe the whole system is encapsulated in this lipid nanoparticle, and we're all just this big, actually.
Stu, I'll send you a text, but I'm ready to schedule anytime you want. I could have it ready in 10 minutes from now.
Oh, you could?
Yeah, anytime you want.
All right, I'll get you. I'm gonna tell her we want to get you on next week, because then we can say premium users were able to see. My segment list this week was Flat Earth Dave, because it went so ballistic. We had to have this conversation, so I'm going to have it booked.
I appreciate it.
I'm going to text her right now.
And Stu, you guys have tons of other people that have shows on your show. Anybody that's interested in having this conversation, send them my way if you don't mind.
I would like to have. I think it would be fun to have. Sorry, I'm just putting this element in here. I think it would be really fun to have you and the Space Force guy.
That would not be fun at all. That would not be fun at all.
No, why not?
because there's some people that are so indoctrinated that they just become unreasonably insane. I've given up trying to talk.
But then he looks insane.
Thanks, Stu. I appreciate you having me. Oh.
But then, yeah, sorry, I was just putting the outro on there. But then he looks insane, though, doesn't he?
Yeah, I'm not here to make people look insane. I'm here to get people with minds that want to learn something new, to take a look, point to some doors.
He's gonna bring all the questions that the common person has, and I don't want to bring on 100 common people.
Right?
Why not bring on the guy that's being used as an asset by the intel community to brainwash people? No, I'm Space Force.
Yeah, what does that mean? He's got a badge. He's got a pin.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Has he been to space?
No.
Right.
No. I don't know anybody who has. And interestingly enough, the Challenger, that was the only shuttle that had real people on it.
Nobody died on the Challenger.
The teacher?
Nope. Let me show you. Let me shuttle. Where's my shuttle?
Wait a minute. We watched that live.
Hold on. You watched something explode live. And again, each one of these conversations are long conversation.
I was a fourth grader, I believe.
I was older than you. I watched it.
So wait a minute. What year was that?
It was 80 something, I think, right? Yeah. Or was it 86? Hold on.
How old are you in fourth grade?
Hold on. You're going to like this. Here you go. It's coincidental that we found 6 of the 7 have an identical twin, okay, that have the same name, that work for universities now, okay, and none of those twins showed up or spoke at their funerals, okay?
Stop it.
The lie is so big. It's so big. You know, this is one that I don't often talk about because the emotional contact that people have, it just tears them apart. And I'm also a little afraid of talking about this one on YouTube because they might strike me down for this is the one thing they don't strike flat earth at all. Okay. But they all, like Krista McCauley, didn't even change her friggin' name. Okay. And Dick Scobie. Okay. Dick Scobie had a corporation. And check this out. When we found him, his company website had a cow in a field that takes off like a rocket and does a little loopity-loop, making the smoke thing that looked just like Challenger, right? And then when we all went crazy, boom, website disappeared, Dick Scobie disappeared.
Okay, who's the chick?
It's Krista McCullough.
Okay, so what does she do now?
I think she works at Yale as a law professor, if I can remember that right, or it might be this one that works a law professor.
Okay, and so, but look, for all intents and purposes, she's out there in broad daylight doing something, interacting with people, right? I mean,
I don't know where she is. The last one I've seen people contact was this guy and this woman. We have a video of this woman speaking at Yale and as a law professor, using her hands, using her glasses, and talking. And then we have her at the NASA conference as a younger person, talking, same hand gestures, same dimple, same teeth, same voice, same everything. There's zero question that it's the same person, and they have the same name.
Does she deny that she's that person? Has she ever been asked?
They all deny. One guy went up to this guy, caught him in his garage, and he's just like, "Oh no, that's not true," you know. And he was very, very cordial about it. And the guy was very nice. But what are you going to say? Oh yeah, you got me. You got me.
Yeah.
You got me. Right.
Mm.
And we just had the rocket launch the other night. Artemis is going to the moon. Okay. Yeah. Rocket deception is mind-blowing, Stu. Here's the thing. This would take up the half the segment, but let me show you this real quick. This is, so people like Elon Musk, he's the best. He's going to be the savior of our world, right? So let me just, where are we going here? Where are we going? So he's gonna save us because he's he's going into space. This is him launching. Now this is unedited. This is a test of the rocket that's going to Mars. Now use your God-given common sense. I know you have a lot of it. So here it is. Edit. So we have a camera on board and we have several cameras on ground. Look how slow this is moving, right? Where's the smoke trail, right? This is not real. Okay. So this is what they show us. Now look, side angle, camera is not very high. Look, it's not very high. The engine's almost about to burn out. And then watch on board. Oh, we're up pretty high all of a sudden. And then side view again. Can't be very high. Now watch. The engine, no, it's up very high again. Engines are going to turn off. And now it's free falling. Now look, how high could this be with this camera angle? Look at this smoke. Watch the next edit. The smoke's going even slower. Ready? Edit. Edit, edit. Here it comes. Look at the smoke. This is supposedly tons, tens of tons free falling. Okay. Oh, now look how high it is. This is their unedited live footage. Okay. Now watch. 3 of the engines are going to go on. It's going to turn upright. The camera is going to get right underneath it. 2 of the engines are going to burn out and it's going to land upright. Okay. Ready? Engines are going to come on. Magically, it's going to balance itself perfectly. Here it goes. Camera is going to edit, gets underneath it. Now watch. 2 of the 3 engines are going to burn out. Okay. 1, 2. Right? Look at speeds by smoke, and it's going to land upright. Watch a bunch of CGI smoke. There it is. And it's going to land upright, and people believe this. This alone tells you space is fake.
Yeah. The stuff coming out of the bottom of the rocket where allegedly the engines are is fake. I mean, it's worse animation than on my kid's Xbox that I play all the time.
But did you notice there was no smoke trail? That there's 2 types of launches NASA does. Some of them they're launching something real, like the Artemis that launched in the middle of the night, 1:30 in the morning, you know, and it launched something with smoke and it left.
Where does that thing end up?
Bermuda Triangle, bam, in the water. That's it. And it's not even a giant thing; it's small. Most of them are blimps. Right, the external tank on the shuttle on the shuttle when it fell back, it's a helium tank, Stu. Helium, okay? Let me show you. So check this out. This is the external tank. This is giant. It's 40, I think it's 20,000 pounds empty. So this is falling back to Earth. Does this look like it's falling or is it floating? Okay, it's going to get worse. I'm going to tell you something that's going to freak you out. But watch, in about 10 seconds, a little tissue is going to float by to give you a reference of how fast it's going. So this is being, do you see it?
Yeah, yes.
So if you were in a helicopter filming this, it would be falling so fast it would be out of sight. It's supposedly going to burn up before it gets to those clouds and disintegrate. Okay, but this is being filmed out the window of the guys on the shuttle that are going 20,000 miles an hour into space. Up, and they're filming this from the window as this thing is still orbiting and keeping up with them as it's falling back to Earth. I'm sorry if you can't see through that. I can't help you, is what I tell people.
Wow,
amazing, right?
I mean, I have a hard time filming out the window of my truck when I see a deer.
Yeah,
running 30 miles per hour.
4 million pounds blowing around in the wind like it's a bouncy house. 4 million pounds, Stu, right? And check this out. SR-71, right? Why doesn't it have any paint on it? Because it gets so hot because of the friction that the paint would burn off. The thing gets so hot, it expands 6 inches when it's flying. It gets like over 500 degrees, okay? And it's pretty aerodynamic. This thing goes Mach 33, compared to this can only do Mach 3.2 or else it rips apart. Put it together.
Yeah.
Right?
All right.
One more for you, just to blow your mind.
Okay.
The closest star is 25 trillion miles away. That's the closest one. The other ones are magnitudes farther. 25 trillion miles. It's 4.5 light years. 25 trillion miles. If you were traveling at a mile per second for a year, no, not for a year. I'm sorry. A mile per second for 1 trillion seconds. How long would that be?
Sorry, my computer went off.
If you were traveling at 1 mile every second, which no human has ever gone that fast, for 1 trillion seconds, how long will have you been traveling?
1 trillion miles.
1 trillion, no. Yeah, 1 trillion miles, but how much time is that at a mile per second? So how long is 1 trillion seconds is my question.
Oh, I can't even do that math.
31,000 years. So if you're going at a mile per second for 31,000 years, you're 1/25th of the way to the closest star. Is your mind just short-circuiting? It makes no sense.
Yeah. And so how long will it take for this thing to get to the moon?
Oh, it's only 238,000 miles away. It takes a couple of days. It's going to go there. It's going to It's going to orbit the moon, and then somehow it's going to eject some mass to send it back to Earth, but there's nothing to eject. It's all, when you look at the official story and the stuff, you're like, no, just no, I'm sorry, no.
So what is it going to send back to Earth?
So Artemis, they we had airplanes. I mean, we went to the moon. We went to the moon in the 60s and 70s, but
wait, we lost that technology though. We misplaced.
But we lost it. It's a painful process to build it back again.
Yeah.
You've been listening.
Yeah. I like the phone that the president used to contact the people on the moon. The corded phone.
Yeah, absolutely. And when we look at the Artemis, check this out. This is the outside of Artemis. Imagine this PVC piping and squared off brackets on the side of a 747. Do you think that would be aerodynamic? Right? This thing is going 17,000 miles an hour within our atmosphere. Okay. It's absolute insanity, right? And you look, this is a close up of the bottom. Check this out. This thing is overinflated. This is a balloon. This is a blimp. Okay. This would be precision. This is going to take all of the thrust to lift up a couple million pounds. Absolute insanity. Absolute insanity.
This is like, have you ever seen the video? I'm sure you have. All of the Afghans clinging on to the side of a United States Air Force cargo jet going down the runway at 160.
Oh, that's so it's a balloon.
It's a balloon.
If you
look at the windows on that thing, they're paint. Yeah. They're not paint. I mean, they're just, it's a graphic. The whole thing is a blown up graphic.
NASA controls all of the helium in the world. Did you know that?
No, I did not know that.
NASA owns all of the major helium companies in the world. And there's always a helium shortage because I don't think there's a helium shortage. They might be using it all up, but they just don't want us having access to rigid inflatables. They demonize hydrogen with the Hindenburg, and then they've made a helium shortage, so we can't have dirigibles. Because if we had a dirigible, we can go explore the outer lands for years on end without refueling.
Just looking some of this stuff. I mean, this is, I gotta have. We got to put you on the main show. Let's see, where is this? I lost that email because I'm in a different email box, but I was going to send you some of the gaslighting, but I'm sure you've seen it all. I mean,
I've seen it all. I've seen everything.
You know what these people say and how they do it. All right, I got to go. I'm going to contact Lauren. I'm going to let her know to get you on the big show sometime next week. We'll do 10 minutes and we'll have a blast.
10 minutes. I love it. I appreciate it. Thank you, Sue.
You got it. We'll see you.
Keep doing the good work. Thanks.
Thank you. I'll try.
Bye.
Hello everyone, Strawman Dan here, and before I start I just want to tell you all about what is by far my favourite app of all time. Yes, you guessed it, it's the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon and Zodiac Clock app. I know, for years I have been anti-Flat Earth with my highly edited weekly anti-Flat Earth scripted rants, but after downloading this app, wow, I'm blown away. Earth is a horizontal level plane and I'm a complete douchebag. I'm sorry.